Arizona's really blowing up right now, semiconductor-wise. We're talking over $65 billion in investment. Just massive.
It's a huge transformation, yeah. Hard to even wrap your head around that number.
Right. And you've got to wonder, how does Arizona actually pull this off? So for this deep dive, we're zeroing in on one really critical piece: the people. Getting enough skilled workers for these super advanced factories.
The skills gap, it's the elephant in the room for any big tech expansion like this.
Exactly. And we're looking at one specific approach today. EON Reality's AI Academy for Income Semiconductor track. They're using spatial AI and XR technology. Sounds pretty cutting edge.
It does. XR meaning extended reality, so virtual and augmented reality.
Got it. So our goal here is to really understand how this EON initiative plans to tackle that skills gap and what makes their approach different.
Sounds good. Where should we start? The why.
Yeah, let's do that. So why is this skills gap such a big deal right now with this semiconductor boom?
Well, it's the kind of fabs being built. These aren't your grandfather's factories. We're talking nanoscale processes. Everything has to be incredibly precise, incredibly clean.
Okay, so high tech. Requires specialized skills, obviously.
Definitely. But it's more than just the traditional clean room discipline or operating complex machinery. The big shift now is working alongside AI and advanced robotics.
The human-machine collaboration piece.
Exactly. That's a whole new layer of skills. And frankly, the old ways of training, lectures, maybe some limited hands-on time, they just aren't fast enough or scalable enough or focused enough on these new AI-era needs.
Right. Our sources really hammer this point home. Traditional training is too slow, doesn't scale for the thousands needed, and maybe crucially doesn't really prepare people for the safety aspects or how to actually team up with an AI.
And think about training in a real fab. It's super expensive. You risk damaging multi-million-dollar equipment, and it takes that equipment offline. It's just not practical at the scale Arizona needs.
Okay, that makes sense. Which leads us straight to the What EON Reality solution. It centers on their EON XR platform. What is that exactly?
So the EON XR platform is essentially their foundation. It's cloud-based software, SaaS, software as a service. It lets you build and, more importantly, deploy these really interactive 3D training simulations.
So like a virtual version of the semiconductor fab.
Precisely. Learners can put on a headset or even use a tablet and be immersed in that environment. They can interact with virtual equipment, practice procedures, all without any real-world risk.
That sounds powerful. But the thing that really jumped out from the sources was this spatial AI text-to-XR capability. That sounds like a game changer.
It really is the breakthrough element here. Think about creating those complex 3D simulations traditionally. It takes teams of developers, months, sometimes longer, huge effort, huge cost.
Right, I can imagine.
But EON Spatial AI, basically you feed it text, like a technical manual, a standard operating procedure, even just a prompt describing a task. And the AI automatically generates the interactive XR training experience.
Automatically. How fast are we talking?
The claim is under 80 seconds.
Wait, seriously? Under 80 seconds? From a manual to an interactive simulation?
That's the claim.
Yeah.
It's frankly astounding if it works as advertised. It means training content can be created or updated almost instantly, keeping pace with how fast this industry changes.
Wow. Okay, so that tech powers their AI Academy for Income Semiconductor track. It's more than just the software then. It's a whole program.
Exactly. The Academy is the full package. It uses those XR simulations, but it also weaves in AI for personalized learning. The AI figures out where a learner is struggling and adjusts the training for them.
Personalized learning path. Makes sense.
Yeah, and it focuses heavily on practicing skills in that virtual environment. Then learners earn micro-credentials, basically digital badges saying, yes, this person demonstrably knows how to do X, Y, or Z, which employers recognize. And it links them to job openings.
So it connects the training directly to employment. That's key. What about the EON Career Guide and Compass mentioned?
Those are AI tools, too, designed to help people figure out where they might fit in the semiconductor industry. They can, explore different roles, see what skills are needed, benchmark their own skills, and then see a learning plan through the academy.
Kind of demystifying the career path.
Right, making it more accessible.
And the curriculum itself, the AI-era semiconductor curriculum, it's not just teaching the basics of chip making.
No, definitely not. It's developed with industry input, so it covers the core technical stuff, but crucially, it integrates training on how to use AI tools, read AI-driven data, work with robotic systems. It's about preparing them for the modern automated fab.
Using those immersive virtual scenarios we talked about.
Exactly. Less theory, more safe, practical doing.
And the big claim here is learning speeds,
Mm-hmm.
up to 4x faster than traditional methods.
That's the headline number, yes. It comes from the combination of immersive practice, AI feedback, and being able to repeat complex tasks safely as many times as needed. If they can achieve that, it's a huge accelerator for Arizona's workforce goals.
Okay, so we've got the why, the huge need, and the what EON's tech and academy. How does this actually get rolled out? Partnerships seem really important here.
Absolutely critical. You can't tackle something this big alone. EON seems to be building a coalition.
Like with state agencies.
Yeah.
The Arizona Commerce Authority was mentioned.
Yeah, groups like the ACA provide the strategic direction, make sure it aligns with the state's economic goals, connect EON in with the big industry players, and potentially help with funding and resources. They're sort of the high-level coordinators.
Makes sense. And then educational institutions, Maricopa Community Colleges, ASU.
Right. They're the natural deployment hubs. They have the campuses, the instructors, the reach into communities. They can integrate this XRAI training into their existing programs, leverage their expertise in teaching.
So getting it out to the people who need the training.
Exactly. And then, of course, you need the semiconductor companies themselves, Intel, TSMC, all their suppliers.
Their role must be indispensable.
Completely. They're the ones who know exactly what skills they need. They validate the training content, make sure it's accurate and relevant. They provide subject matter experts. And crucially, they're the ones who will hopefully hire the graduates, maybe offer internships too.
So industry defines the need, education delivers the training with EON's tech, and the state helps coordinate. That sounds like a pretty joined-up approach.
That seems to be the model, yeah. And they're planning flexible delivery to dedicated academy centers, but also putting it into colleges, using mobile XR labs, training local trainers, trying to maximize reach.
Okay, so if this all comes together, what are the big wins, the key benefits for Arizona?
Well, number one is speed. Getting people competent much faster, that potential 60% training time reduction, the 4x faster learning claim, that directly addresses the urgency.
Speed to competency, got it.
Then there's mastery and quality. The sources mention things like potentially over 95% first-time pass rates on tests, much better knowledge retention because you're doing things, not just reading.
And safety has to be huge, right? Dealing with hazardous stuff or expensive machines.
Absolutely massive. Practicing emergency shutdowns or handling dangerous chemicals in VR means zero real-world risk. That's invaluable for trainees and for the company's bottom lines. Protects people and equipment.
We talked about the fast content creation with the AI.
Yeah.
That agility must be a continuous benefit too.
For sure. The industry changes constantly. New machines, new processes, being able to update training in, well, potentially seconds instead of months, keeps the workforce current. That agility plus cloud delivery also points to cost savings and easier scaling.
And it keeps coming back to this future-proofing idea.
Yeah.
Creating workers ready for AI-driven factories.
Exactly. It's not just filling today's jobs, but equipping people with skills in data analysis, working with AI decision support, managing automation. That's vital for long-term competitiveness.
So ultimately, the idea is this becomes a major boost for Arizona's economy.
That's the goal. Support those huge investments, help create those high-paying jobs, make Arizona a global leader not just in making chips, but in having the talent to make those chips.
It really throws the difference between this and traditional training into sharp relief, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Just look at content creation. Months versus seconds. Learning speed, standard versus maybe 4x faster. Skill focus, mostly technical versus technical, plus AI collaboration.
Safety training. Limited or risky versus totally risk-free immersion.
Right. Equipment practice.
Really?
Expensive and limited versus unlimited virtual access. Human-machine interaction, often minimal versus explicit training. Adaptability.
Yes.
Slow updates versus instant AI-driven updates.
And cost, potentially significant savings there too, all leading to workers who are hopefully ready to go much faster.
Yeah, potentially day one ready in a way that traditional methods struggle to achieve for these complex roles.
The sources gave some cool specific examples of how this might be used, like navigating the virtual fab.
Yeah, and the AI can create all sorts of different scenarios, unexpected obstacles, different layouts, safety drills, or converting operating manuals into interactive XR guides for specific machines.
And troubleshooting. The AI generating different kinds of equipment, faults for people to practice diagnosing.
Exactly. Or hazardous materials, handling drills, augmented reality guides for maintenance. It's about covering the whole spectrum of tasks within that AI integrated environment.
Even the sample curriculum outline showed this integration, didn't it? AI generating hazard scenarios, creating modules from specs, specific drills for human-AI interaction.
Right, it seems deeply embedded in the curriculum design, not just an add-on.
There was a quote from Dan Lidgerskar, EON's chairman, that seemed to sum it up well. Let me see. Here. Our spatial AI breakthrough changes the equation. Create and deploy. Training at the speed of industry need. Master complex skills 4x faster. Equipping Arizonans with the AI-era competencies to excel alongside intelligent machines.
Yeah, that captures it. Speed, relevance, and that focus on future skills working with AI.
So wrapping this up, it really looks like EON Reality's approach, using this spatial AI and XR, offers a potentially powerful way for Arizona to build that skilled semiconductor workforce it desperately needs. It's fast, it promises to be effective, it's safer.
And it's geared towards the future of manufacturing, not the past. If it delivers on its potential, it could significantly de-risk those massive investments and really fuel Arizona's growth in this sector.
Definitely something to watch.
Yeah.
And if you want to dig deeper, the sources mentioned EON Reality has its own podcast and an EON XR spoken blog worth checking out.
Which brings us to a final thought, maybe. We're seeing this huge push with AI-powered training for semiconductors in Arizona. But where else could this apply?
Good question.
Think about other industries getting totally reshaped by tech right now. Advanced manufacturing, aerospace, maybe even healthcare or energy. Anywhere there's rapid change and a need for complex hands-on skills. Could this kind of AI-driven immersive training be the answer to quickly upskilling millions of workers? What other sectors are facing a similar crunch? It's certainly food for thought.